Hi, I'm Claire with Savage Streaming Productions. I'd like to put a shout out for our sponsors, Savage Billiard Apparel, capturing the heart of pool with their message, Live Fearless, Play Savage. Legends Billiard Room and Catfish Loos off 217 on Allen in Beaverton. In the first 2 years of operation, Catfish Loos was awarded both the 2017 and 2018 Muddy Award for Best Venue by the Cascade Blues Association. As of 2019, they've added Legends Billiard Room. Legends Billiard Room is filled with 20 7-foot and 6 9-foot diamond tables, all of them brand new. Legends provides a place for both adults and minors to play pool and compete in tournaments 7 days a week. Littman Lights. Littman Lights are the official pool table lights for the Western BCA regional events and Q Sports International. If you haven't played under Littman Lights, you are really missing out. The Billiard Shop in Aloha, a great resource in the Oregon community for anything pool related, such as tables, cues, and a full range of pool accessories. The Billiard Shop currently has the new Gabriel's Pool Table on display. Gabriel's Billiards makes the official table used in the 3-Cushion Billiards World Championships. Now they make the pool version of the table. Stop by the Billiard Shop in Aloha and experience pool on a whole new level.
And we're back. Here at Savage Streaming Productions, we're more than pool. Obviously, like I was saying last time on the casting herring rig for Spring Chinook, we at Savage Streaming Productions, we're all pool players. Ray Cunningham, Tracy Cunningham, me, my wife, Claire, we're all pool players. But our mission statement is honoring life's passions, and we want people to pursue their passions. One of my passions in life is fishing. Been doing it pretty much my whole life. So I spent a lot of time out there, not catching fish, just fishing, not catching. But I've learned some things along the way, and that herring rig that I showed last week, I've caught a lot of springers and summer snook on it, not so much fall snook. The only reason why you don't use it for fall snook is the water's warmer in the 60 degrees, so the herring doesn't stay. That's why a lot of people will use Brad's wobblers and stuff like that, and hard metal and quick fishes and anchor up and stuff like that. But the water's still in the 45, 46 degree temperature, so the water's still cold, so the herring or whatever you're using as far as bait, sardines, herring, anchovies, is going to stay fresh. This rig I started doing, and it was pretty ugly in the beginning, but it was still catching fish. And over time, I was like, man, I can improve on this. So a lot of people use worms now, especially for steelhead fishing. Worm and 1/8 ounce jig underneath the slip float, and it's deadly. It catches a lot of steelhead. It catches coho. Sometimes fall chinook if they're running in the same time category. But I use it a lot for spring chinook, and that is the season. Eventually, when all this craziness is over, we're going to get back to fishing. And then summer chinook, and I've caught, when I'm shad fishing, I've caught a lot of where I'll get bored from catching so much shad, and I'll go to plunking. And this is a rig that I came up with, and you can use it a lot of different ways. So this is a 4-inch pink worm, and it really, the action is crazy good, and you can pull plugs. Go ahead, Ray, transition over to the overhead. Yep. So this pink worm rig, you can rig it a lot of different ways. So you can rig it behind, this is a short buzz flasher. You can actually put this behind the flasher like this, and it's pretty deadly if you're trolling. A lot of people like to troll for a spring chinook because now you're hunting for them instead of waiting for them to run into your gear. But it works great on a flasher. It also works really good, which is really popular now, is pro trolls. Because there's not that much resistance behind it. Obviously, a 3.5 spinner behind a big, behind a pro troll is really popular. But this works really, really good when this is behind the pro troll, and it's because the worm is still moving in the water. I mean, there's a lot of action, and people might say, "Well, look at the hooks," and that's the reason why they're called king salmon, spring chinook. They don't have hands, so they can't slap things out of their way or grab it with their hands. They grab it with their mouth, and this has so much action in it. Even diver and bait, when you're pulling plugs or diver and bait on a drift boat in a river, and you're pulling plugs, you can use this too to instead of pulling plugs, you just tie this onto your diver, like Brad's make the smaller divers. You can just hook this up to a diver, and this has lots of action. In king salmon, they don't understand hooks, and they're not leader shy either. Even steelhead, I would drop this down to 15-pound mono, but the hooks don't interfere. They don't understand what hooks are, so done really well. So I'm going to show you how I rig this, and I don't see too many people out there, I'm not saying there isn't, that use this to plunk fish, and I do a lot of plunking. I enjoy it even more so than a boat because I can get out, moving around on the bank. I bring a little portable grill, grill some steaks, grill some fish, and I've done really well casting this in a plunking form. So I'm going to show you how to rig it. I use a Mucha rig setup. In the beginning I used a single hook, but I was missing fish sometimes. With the Mucha rig, your hooking ratio is going to be a lot better. So I'm using Gamakatsu hooks. I fish in Washington quite a bit, and it's barbless up there. You have to pinch your barbs, or you just buy barbless. So that's what I did. These are the 75414s. They are 4/0. Some people, if you want, I've used a treble hook as my trailer before. I think just two Mucha rig single hooks are a little bit better. That's for me. Just playing around with this. So you guys tie these in the Mucha rig setup. So what you're going to do, here's my two hooks. And I'm using, you can use 20-pound mono. I'm using Maxima Ultra Green. You can use fluorocarbon. I've all used Maxima Ultra Green. Some things I don't like about fluorocarbon leader, like Seager fluorocarbon or other manufacturers of fluorocarbon. It seems like they get nicks in the line really easy. And when you're pulling in, a 15-pound, 12-pound, 20-pound salmon, that's an infraction inside your leader line, and some bad things can happen. If you're waiting all day to hook that one fish and it breaks on because your line is infractured, it hurts. I've had it happen to me. So I use Maxima Ultra Green. It's 30-pound. Once again, salmon are not leader shy, and I like to use 30-pound on this rig because the heavier the line, the more your line is going to flow in the water. The 10, 12-pound is going to sink in the water column versus 30 is more buoyant in the water and it has more action. So you don't, like maybe 3 feet leader. So, like I was saying last time, and the that herring rig that I did, moocher rig setup, I mean, literally, I've done it so many times I can do it with my eyes closed, but it does take some practice to do this moocher rig. So what you do is you're gonna start with your main line like this. You're gonna wrap it around the shank of the hook 5 or 6 times. And then you go back through the eyelet like so. Then you pinch your wrap lines, and then you just turn it back on the shank of the hook like so. And then you just kind of cinch it down. Put a little spit on there so you don't burn your line. There's different ways to tie this moocher rig. There's like 4 or 5 different ways. I like this one because it doesn't burn your line like a couple of the other ways to tie this moocher rig. So now I cut off my tag line.
This time, make sure you're in camera.
So once again, you're going to go through the back of the eyelet. So on the herring rig, you want them farther apart because you want it the full distance of a herring. And yes, they do have sliding moocher rigs to where they tie it with the bobber stop knot and you can just slide it. I don't like those. I've used them. And what happens, so when a fish eats it and turns his head like this, that's why your rod is going like this, because it's ate it and it's turned his head and is trying to turn down river. When that first hook can slide, sometimes when they eat it, they're just eating this first hook, and what will happen is that thing slides and you don't get a good hook set. When it's set, you get, in my opinion, a better hook set. So with this worm rig, you want the hooks close, and it's actually easier to tie. So once again, you're just going to wrap it around the shank of the hook, and then you bring it back through the eyelet like so. Then you pinch the lines again. This is the tricky part. Getting everything squared up, okay? Just like so. So that is a moocher rig setup right there. You could use one hook. Like I said earlier, in the first beginning stages of this, I only used one hook. I did miss some fish, or they would pop off. With the moocher rig, your odds of landing the fish become a lot better with a better hook set with 2 hooks. So there is my moocher rig. For the way I used to do it, I used to just kind of thread the hook into the worm, and it wasn't a very good setup. So after thinking about it more and more, I came up with this, and it was a lot cleaner. It was a lot better action in the water. The worm was more free to move around. So this is a bait threader. ProCure makes this one. It's to rig prawns, sand shrimp, like I was doing with the herring last time, which it works perfectly. So this is a bait threader. So what you're going to do is you're going to
There you go.
put it into this little hole that they put in there, and you don't have to use all the line. You just use, a couple inches like that. I use, I just like these because first of all, this company's made in the USA. Support companies that are made in the USA. I've tried many different worms because there's tons of them out there, and obviously there's tons of different colors. This is what's worked for me, and I've tried many different worms. I've tried fuchsia, red and black. They call it a nightmare color pattern, and I just always go back to what works. And mind you, I've bought the other colors, so I have them. But this is Mad River Manufacturing. They are fishing people that started this, so they are owned by fishing people. So what you're gonna do, this is a little bit tricky, but so on this worm, you can see where it's kind of flat and then it goes to rib, then flat, then rib. You wanna catch right below the flat part. And you want it as much in the middle as possible.
So like in the first rib?
No,
The first
you
rib
want
or the
it
second
right
side?
after the flat part. So if you're looking at it, you can see where it's rib, then flat. I'm right behind the flat and right before the last tail part of the rib part. The reason why I do that, because it's flat right there, and I'm going to show you why here in just a minute. So you want to kind of in the middle. I will tell you that sometimes what I do when I'm not getting bit, I need to try something else, and I know that fish are swimming through the lane. I mean, that's another half the battle is knowing kind of the path that the fish are swimming. And this is a casting rig. I cast this rig when I'm plunking. I fished at certain places, like at Frenchman's Bar, and by looking at navionic maps, I found ledges down there. Spring Chinook swim from 15 to 30 feet. At a lot of different places, there's ledges to where you're only casting 60, 70 feet to try to hit 15-foot depth. A lot of times, spring Chinook, they'll swim really, really shallow in 10 feet of water. So this one is meant to cast to plunk, the way that I'm rigging it. So where I was kind of going with that, I will sometimes offset it, the worm, and not push the needle right through the middle. I will push it off to the side, because instead of the worm just going flat and just kind of running the current, when you offset it and bring it through, it will make the worm have a different reaction in the water, and it will turn more. So this one, just to show you what I'm doing, I'm going through the middle. So you push your bait threader all the way through the worm, just like that. So we're done with that, and now you just slide.
Okay, left the camera.
Now you're just sliding the worm all the way through.
Just see it? One on your left. I'm
Yeah.
gonna switch. Ready?
So this is pretty much what it's going to look like. So a kind of a finishing touch. I like my gear to look really clean. I mean, you know, I've caught fish without pushing the hook through the worm, but I just think it looks cleaner. So what you do is you shove the hook very carefully into the worm like that, and it's a lot cleaner. And the reason why I do that now, this first hook is kind of stationary into the worm. This tag hook is just gonna kind of swim, and I'm telling you, I wish you could see this in the water, and we had water current right now, because this worm has crazy amounts of action in the current. That tail is just and the current will take it, because the worm is so light that it will kind of turn it in the water and spin it around while that back tail is moving. So obviously this is pink and chartreuse. I mean, we're almost done. So you need some beads. I'm using pretty small beads. Okay. Well, okay, man down. We lost that one, but we got back up. So, here is this hook. So here's the beads. Here's the mucha rig with the worm rig with the bead. Like I was saying in the herring video, there's probably 60 different kinds of spinning glows out there, and all different sizes. I have pretty much at least one of every one of those colors, maybe two, and I seem to only use this one for some reason, because I've caught all the way from the mouth of the Drano, the Wind River, the Columbia River, Washougal. I've used this rig and I've caught steelhead and salmon off of this. So this spinning globe is chartreuse. It is chartreuse top, bottom with tiger chartreuse in the body.
Back up just a second.
Chartreuse, chartreuse mylar wings. The mylar wings are big.
Oh, you took
The mylar wings are big, and this is UV. So that's how predators kind of kill to find different prey. Sometimes in the ocean is by UV. Their sides on the back actually will do different lighting when they're panicking. Tuna do it. They call them that they're hot when they get them into the boat because their outsides actually kind of light up a little bit. So this is UV, and I've done really, really well with this one. When you first buy a spinning glow, you should make sure that the hole is straight through, that there's nothing interfering with it. So all you do is you put your spinning glow on now. Oh, I got it backwards. No, sorry.
Now you got it backwards.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna get this right. Yeah, okay, here we go. So that is it. And you want to straighten your line out so there's no kinks in it. And that's it. I use all different kinds of scents. I do recommend that you put these in a plastic bag if you're, because they are going to smell quite a bit, and you don't want this stuff leaking to your fishing gear. I got garlic. I like bloody tuna. I've done really good with bloody tuna. I've done good with, there's so many scents. They have a whole aisle of Sportsman's Warehouse, or wherever you go, it's just a whole row of scents, whatever you feel comfortable with. I like to use anise bloody tuna. The anise oil is actually kind of a sweetener, and then the bloody tuna we've done really well. I've done good with just regular sand shrimp oil too, but all you do, this is garlic. You just got whatever I think is confident, that you feel confidence, and then I like to use gels instead of liquids because the gels stick onto the plastic longer. And to get water soluble scents is a pretty good thing. The benefit of a water soluble one is that the water soluble stays in one water column as your base going. If it's not water soluble, it will rise. So salmon smell like, I think they said 1 million parts to 1 in water. That's kind of how they navigate what their home waters are. So they are very scent, they're very aware of scent. So if the scent is rising in the water column and they're swimming up, now all you're kind of relying on is an attraction for them to see your bait. When the scent is going the same water column, now they have a scent that they're kind of following all the way to your bait. So water soluble scents are a good idea to use. But this is the rig. You can stick this behind. I like this flasher. I've caught a lot of springers on this flasher, but you can tie this behind if you're trolling in a boat. You can tie this to the back of the flat. It looks mean in water. Also, with the Pro Troll, you do want a little bit longer leader because of the spin and glow will create a little bit of resistance. So you want a little bit of a leader so it allows the Pro Troll to keep turning. Instead of pulling plugs, you can pull this and use a smaller spin and glow for steelhead. And I'm sure other people have different ways. Maybe they're gonna do it. I'm just telling you, this is how I do it, and I can't tell you how many spring and summer snook that I've caught with this rig. So I'm just honoring life passions. I'm just spreading something that I do. This is a rig that I've caught a lot of fish on. If you guys have any questions on how to rig this, please put it in the comments. We try to keep up on that and answer all the messages out there. It works. I have found that I catch more fish on this pink worm rig than I have salmon eggs. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. We're gonna kind of do more of this. Obviously, we're gonna do some more pool stuff too. But we just want to tell you guys at Savage Streaming Productions, we appreciate all of you guys that are keeping our economy going, that are in high risk situations, from grocery workers to people that are stocking the shelves, to truck drivers, to construction workers that are still having to go on, nurses, doctors. My wife is a nurse and she puts herself in harm's way. To everybody that's keeping the economy afloat, we just wanted to tell you guys at Savage Streaming Productions, we see you, we honor you and your commitment. So live fearless, play savage. Thank you guys, appreciate it. So Michael Bean and Michelle Bean that owned Legends, great people. They play pool with their daughter. They own Pool Hall Legends Billiards out in Beaverton. Him and his wife do so much for pool. They got 8-9 foot diamonds in there. I can't even remember how many. I think like 27-foot bar box diamonds in there. They have junior league going out there, APA, BCA. They do a lot. They have tons of tournaments. I was just talking to Michael Bean the other day. He's put a lot of money into pool tournaments. I'm talking thousands of dollars. He has Shane Van Boney up there. Shane Van Boney doesn't come to different states for free, so they have to pay for that. And a lot of people that I talk to personally, man, they were so happy to have a picture with Shane Van Boney. And he did like clinics, like lessons on, I guess he has a 7-point aiming system. Anyway, it was pretty awesome what Michael and Michelle Bean have done for the Northwest. I mean, and I don't say this lightly, they one of the key components of putting Oregon on the map of where to come play pool, that there are competitive pool players here in Oregon, men and women. And also the billiard shop, Michael Littman, what he does for pool, he donates thousands and thousands of dollars. He donated to have the NWPA at Sam's Hollywood Billiards, and it was a great success, great turnout. Obviously from Val, who's the owner of Sam's Hollywood Billiards, he's giving a light to the up-and-coming, he's giving 5 lights away to junior players that are up-and-comers. If you haven't gone to the billiard shop out in Aloha, I was there a while back ago, and man, if you're a pool player, it's like fishermen going to Bass Pro Shops. Man, you can just get stuck. It's beautiful. I mean, his collection of peach hours. He is a dealer for peach hour. He obviously has Predator. He has all of them. He has a Gabriel pool table in there. Oh my God, it's beautiful. If you don't know, that's what Shane Van Boning's using in his place is a Gabriel table with a Lippmann light. So we just want to thank Michael Beam, Michelle Beam, Michael Littman for allowing us to pursue our passions. I mean, we're hunters, fishermen, and we're pool players. That's why we started this channel. Was first for pool, but we've expanded because, man, we're living a life just like you guys. And I'm a fisherman. I love fishing. I love everything about it. That's why I started an apparel company, Savage Billiard Apparel. So we just want to thank everybody that has liked and subscribed to our channel. Without you guys, that we couldn't do it. So please click on our streaming channel, hit like, hit subscribe. I know you guys hear it all the time when you're watching YouTube. It really is how we stay afloat, is by you guys hitting like and subscribe, and help us. You are in this with us, so we appreciate you guys.